Give a sec for the window to catch up, but looks like it's just about there. I'll bring us in. Wonderful. My name is Jack Rome, and I'm glad to welcome you to Meet the Speaker, a live series with cast members of the Awakening Mind film series, who will also be speaking at the upcoming 3-day online immersive conference, The Infinite I Am, Awakening Beyond Identity in a World on Fire, taking place from November 14th to 16th. So, this series is designed to give you just a brief taste, really, of the teaching, of the session experience, of the direct experience that you can expect from each session during the conference. So, Tom Dass is a prolific spiritual teacher who has explored many teaching traditions and lineages, but bringing an uncanny knack of being able to meet you exactly where you are and facilitate a greater clarity in those who approach him for guidance. So, living with his family in London, he holds regular meetings, both in person and online, to share this wonderful message of love and freedom from suffering. So, Tom's conference session is titled The Greatest Service You Can Give to the World, Awakening to the I Am. So, Tom, thank you so much for joining us. And, there's one particular thing that I wanted to ask you about because in giving context for your session, you of course listed Ramana Maharshi's wonderful quote, "Your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world." In your words, your perspective, what makes self-realization the greatest service that one can render the world?
Thank you, Jack. Thank you for the introduction. Lovely to be here with you again. Now, the thing about these teachings, the way they're expressed in words, it's there's always a context. There's always a context with the words. The true teaching isn't in words. The deepest teaching, really right at the deepest level, that's not in words. That's something else. We can't put that into words. It's a genuine, real, palpable teaching, but it's not in words. When it comes to the words, there's always a context. So when Bhagavan Ramana said those words, that the greatest service you can give to the world is the realization of your true self, the I am, that was in the context he was talking to somebody. He was speaking to someone. He was saying to that person, maybe that person felt like they had to serve something or someone around them, their community, their family, their friends, a purpose outwardly. But Bhagavan Ramana could see in that person what they really wanted to do was self-inquiry. That was their true purpose. So to that person, he might have said, the greatest service you can render, see, that person can render, is to abide as the I am. Why am I prefacing all this? Why am I saying all this? Because I'm not here to tell anyone what their purpose should be. I'm not here to tell you your greatest service you can give to the world is to abide as the I am. I would never say that to you because who am I to say what your greatest service should be? That's up to you, you know. Now we have to call the session title something. And this was one thing that came up. And it's a lovely topic to talk about. And it can be such a wonderful teaching for people who are resonating with it, you know. But for other people, they may feel their purpose is something else. That's fine. But if you are interested in liberation, which is the total cessation of suffering, total happiness, love, discovering what you really are, that love, that bliss. If that's what you're interested in, if that somehow you connect with that, then this teaching is the greatest service you can render the world because when you realize your true nature, you you save the entire world. You don't everyone wakes up when you wake up. You know, the way we see others is the way we see ourselves. There's a kind of reflection. When we wake up, the whole world wakes up. So this is the greatest service, where you can transform the world through this inner path. Now, if someone says to me, Tom, I really feel I want to serve, and they in a particular outward form, they really say, oh, I want to be a doctor. I really want to be a painter. I want to be a musician. I'm not, I would say fantastic. That's wonderful. You know, if one of my kids came up to me and said, Dad, I want to do this. I want to, I want to be a painter. I'm not going to say, well, actually, the greatest service is go turn within to the I am, because that's not appropriate, the context, you see. So maybe I'll stop there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Makes so much sense. You said about, and this is not a phrase or concept that I'm stranger to. I love what you said about when we wake up, we save the world or something to that effect. Could you say more about like the mechanics of that? Like, how does that work? What does that mean that we save the world?
Yeah. It is it is true on one hand and it's metaphorical on another hand.
Mm,
Okay. But it's let let me explain. So I don't like to talk about it too much, but I'm happy if people want me to, I will. The reason is the deeper you go, the more radical the teaching gets. And the more radical the teaching gets, there are some people who it really attracts because they're really desperate for that radical, liberating teaching. And there are a whole load of other people it can alienate who aren't ready for that radical teaching yet, you know? When we think of ourselves as a person, a body mind entity called Tom or called Jack or whomever, our own sense of being a person, our own personhood is projected outwards. So when I see myself as Tom, I see you as Jack. I see other people as themselves, and so on and so on. When you discover your true nature, the sense of individuality dissolves or collapses, or was seen to have never arisen in the first place. And when the sense of being an individual person ceases, the sense of separation or duality also ceases. So sense that there is anything else apart from you ceases. And what remains is just perfection. Now, perfection's just the word, but it's pointing to something. It's pointing to something that we cannot really describe in words, but we all know it within us. We all know it within ourselves. It's the I am, fully shining in all its glory. And in this I am, there is no suffering. There is no, there's nothing to save. There's nothing that needs to be saved, or it's already been saved. It's, essentially heaven. So the reason there appears to be suffering is because of this root problem or root false thing. This false thing has got in the way, like, a speck of dirt or a speck of dust that is obscuring the lens and it distorts the entire picture. you know. And when we remove that, and that's the sense of being a person, this is the root ignorance, the root problem, the original sin, some people say. And when this is removed, then the entirety of the sin is wiped away just by removing the speck of dust from your own eye. The whole vision is cleansed. Whereas when the speck of dust is in our own eye, we see everything else through that filter. It's distorted. We see the projection of that dust outside of us. And that then we think, oh, things need to be saved in the world. Oh, look how bad this thing's happening in the world. Look how bad that thing's happening in the world. Look at my neighbor, my someone in my community. Look how they're acting in this way or that way. All these problems start to arise. And it's all actually because of this root problem within us. And this was the great realization discovered by all the great sages, whether it's the Buddha or the rishis from the Upanishads or whoever, all over the world, all different times and places. This is just this timeless teaching is discovered. And that is, it's not that actually there's no actual problem with the world per se. It's there's a problem within us, apparently, not really. And if we remove that, if we look at that carefully, we realize it's not actually there at all. There's never been a problem. And when we realize there's never been a problem, we call that dissolving the problem. It's dissolving the problem because we realize it was an illusion. And this is why I say metaphorically, you save the whole world. You don't actually save the whole world. You realize it never needed to be saved. But I said it's true, and I said it's metaphorical. It's true because there is a great truth here. But it's not literally you save the world. It's that you realize that there's nothing that needs to be saved. There's just pure perfection. And you are that. You are that. Tattvamasi in Sanskrit. You are that.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Wow. Mm.
So I could go on, but then this is kind of meant to be a taster, isn't it? For
Yes,
them.
it is. Yeah, no,
We can do the whole session now. Well, there's always potentially more to say,
Yeah.
depending on what people want to hear. So in terms of the wonderful conference we have coming up in 2 weeks, I think these things are lovely because, and I've said this before, and I think I said it to you last time, but there's something for everyone
Mm.
in these conferences. Maybe many people will be resonating with what I share, but maybe they won't. But you come to this conference, there'll always be something for you there. There'll be a speaker who I'm sure will speak to you. And we'll, it's so wonderful to meet with people and have a chance to interact and share and see what happens. It's really a magical thing. I've always found it very magical, these events.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, let's leave it right here and we'll pick it back up right here. As I've been saying with these tastes, we'll just pick it right back up and
Mm.
continue. Um, yeah, as Tom said, everybody, it's November 14th to 16th. Again, it's called the Infinite I Am Conference, and you can actually register just for free at purepresenceconferences.com. So we hope to see you there to explore this more in whatever way, as Tom said, resonates most with you. And, no matter where you end up, you're probably going to be listening to somebody who is speaking to you and perhaps even speaking for you in terms of it resonating. So It really is a wonderful thing. This is going to be my second time hosting at the conference, so I'll see you there too. Tom, thank you so much. Until then.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. All right. See y'all later.